Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, we're going to have an interesting show today because we're going to talk about spiritual connections.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Mom, because we are going to be here with someone that knows a lot about this. And we're going to also talk about how to make a spiritual connection. And our guest today is Lisa Wilcoxson. Naturally intuitive and having seen spirit since her teenage years, Lisa dedicated herself to spiritual work after both her children transcended. She is a certified medium, affiliate leader for two groups for the Helping Parents Heal organization, which we know well. And she also supports the Miss Foundation, which is another organization that we love and is near and dear to our hearts. So welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here.
It's wonderful to have you on today, Lisa. And gosh, what a tough story of losing two children, having them, as they say in the more, spiritual world, having them transition is, I think, the way it's put rather than die. Do you want to talk about that transition a little bit as a word?
Certainly. I call the time before both of my children crossed my innocence of illusion, because truly most people believe we die. We leave our bodies. We go, some of us believe there's a beautiful afterlife, a heaven, or wherever we go. And as Rumi said, we hang out with angels with harps on clouds. And that has truly been shown to not be the reality.
Mm-hmm. So what is the reality for you?
The reality is my boys have shown me in absolutely remarkable, no uncertain terms, that every bit of their existence, and even to the point of being able to physically put themselves around me in a different sense of way, that they are still so very much alive and still so very much a part of my life. The challenge as we cross through this innocence of illusion of what things meant to us before and what things really are as we move forward to have a new relationship with them is the grief, and one step forward and two steps back. Grief did not hold me back from connecting to my children. In fact, grief was the catalyst that brought me to literally that point where I'll say I cracked, but in cracking, it shattered what my perception was of the type of relationship I could continue to have with them.
You know, one of those things that I've heard, and I think people that are listening today and watching are thinking about, you said that your grief and your connection with the children has been, important and a catalyst, but sometimes we hear people say, oh, you can grieve too much because then they can't get in touch with you. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I've heard that as well.
I too have heard that as well. I can tell you that it is factual, that the more gratitude you feel, the more love you feel, the more joy you feel, the easier it is to connect. However, in fact, in preparing for this today, I've been having this thing where I got all bit up by sand bugs in Florida. And so I've had this issue going on with bugs that I know was at, like, what is this? Why is my son trying to tell me something about this? And it's what is bugging you when you feel something, when you feel grief. They're trying to let you know we are here with you. It's not all terrible. I have a story where,
Lisa,
ahead.
I just want to stop you for a minute, because I think this is an important point, because what I hear, I had a brother that died at 17, and what I hear so many families say that are grieving is it's a lot of pressure. They want to connect, and they feel like it's a lot of pressure that they have to be in a good vibration before they're doing it. So I think it's a relief to hear, hey, you can connect and be grieving and maybe in a sad space.
Absolutely. That is absolutely true, because our emotions are so connected to our energy and to our vibration. And a lot of times, just out of the blue, we will feel overwhelmed with our grief, overwhelmed with our tears, overwhelmed with, and not even knowing why. So many people talk about the aisles in the grocery store, or you're just walking by and a memory hits you. Well, the reason that happens, it's not just fully grief, it's because they are there and they are trying to say, we're here with you. I have a time I pulled into my garage, and this was a couple years ago, and there was a box of old shoes, my son's old shoes. And I just lost it. And I grabbed one of those stinky size 11 Vans, and I just stuck my head in it and fell in a fetal position, rocking in my garage floor, crying. And all of a sudden, I slowly pulled the shoe away from my face. And I thought, wait a minute, I never took his shoes out of his closet. And then I realized it was my stepson, Cody's shoes. He had given me this box to take to Goodwill before he went into the Navy. And I all of a sudden had Anthony standing right there with me. And he said, Mom, you're pathetic. And I started laughing so hard with my son. It went from fetal position crying to this incredible laughter with him seeing me doing this silly thing. And it's all together, isn't it? The
And
love.
Anthony, the one that you were having this moment with, had transitioned.
Yes, he had
Okay.
transitioned. He
Yeah.
had transitioned, and suddenly he was right there with me saying, Mom, oh my God, Mom, look at you. And literally I was on the garage floor and just started laughing so hard I just rolled around with the love.
So how can I find my child? How can someone find their child? What do I need to do? I mean, I hear you talking about that, and that sounds so delicious to me. And how can I do that?
The first thing I would offer is to recognize that everything is in the breath. Our breath is the most sacred and the most significant. To breathe in a deep breath, which in grief we so often forget to do, breathes in the same air that went through their body. But not only that, it fills us with oxygen, it fills us with all the things that we need to basically just enlighten us, to be able to allow us to connect. That's the first and the utmost important, is to just remember to breathe. Okay. It truly is amazing. Most of the connections, anywhere you go, they'll teach you that you have to take those deep breaths. The second thing is, and I tell all my clients, all the people that I work with, there's only one thing you need to be able to connect with your loved ones. That one thing is everything. Everything will be used. Recognizing we can be impressed upon. Take absolutely every little thing that happens to you and question it. What does this mean? Why is this here? And if what you need to do is sit and rest your head, get up and move. A lot of times getting up and moving, walking around. Where is it you want me to go? What is it you want me to see? I promise you, you will always find something, and it will always be an incredible miracle. Honestly, even the little amazing things are just miracles.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like the idea that you could take a moment like this and say, okay, what is this about? Is it a redirection? Do I need to stop and take a pause? Do I need to drink water? How can I take care of myself at this moment? I know you talk about finding harmony within yourself. I really like that idea, that harmony inside.
Oh my gosh. And that is just one of my biggest challenges, because when you are going through any kind of difficulty, particularly in something like this, it is the internal struggle that can be so difficult. But again, And just as Spirit's just showing me now, the simple things, finding harmony, finding peace, finding your space, connect yourself to some light, surround yourself with light, whether you have Hanukkah candles or some Christmas lights or your porch light or a little seashell plugged into your bathroom, whatever it is you have, connect with that light. Our inner lights are always on. We just need to pull them in. And as soon as we connect with them, we shine, and it's easier for all of those connections to be made.
I like to always tell people that I'm solar operated.
Very important.
I run on light.
Starlight is just as powerful, even if it's in the clouds. So those of you who are night owls, those of you who are awakened, and insomnia is also such part of moving towards that transition of knowing that we're okay. Lay in your bed, remove the ceiling, float yourself out to the sky, float yourself out into the everything, out into the stars, and always continue to come back to the breath, always to the breath.
I know one of the things you say is that you don't need to take classes. You don't need to learn how to do this. I mean, it's great to do it. You don't, but you have a natural ability.
Well, I do want to say I had an absolute ravenous appetite for courses, ravenous. However, what I found most fascinating and most fun was as I would sit in the courses, my dear beloved friend Suzanne Gaisman used to call me the gasper, because she would put PowerPoint presentations up and I would just sit there and go, because it was things that I had seen in my meditations. And it's the validation of that. Not that I already knew that, but it's the validation. It's like receiving a validation of something before you're even taught it, really. And it's all in the awakening that is such an absolutely incredible gift. I can tell you now, my life would not be what it is today had I not gone through what my children and I go through together. I say that with a great deal of caution, because I know people are in different places in their grief and different places in their lives. However, the things I have seen, the things that I know we can all see and we can all know about the absolute divine, miraculous, everything that is, it just fills me with such hope and love. And this is what I want to just give even a glimmer of to any of the viewers here today, is just hold on.
So Lisa, I know that you're a medium and a sought after medium. What if someone is wanting to connect on their own with their, like in my example, my brother or my dad? I mean, how does one do that? Is it they focus on the breath, or what do they do? Can we do it ourselves? I mean, it sounds like we can a little bit. Okay.
Absolutely. Mediumship is merely to prove there is no death. We are all born with these senses. Of course, it's just like being a track star. I can run, but I certainly can't run to an Olympic track level. And that takes different levels of being able to work with this. Of course, I have devoted my life to this now. However, we can connect with our loved ones merely by centering, merely by focusing. Learn about the clairs, learn about your clairsentience, learn about which is a clear feeling, learn about claircognizance, which is a clear knowing when a thought drops into your head that you think, where did that come from? There's deja vu, there's just so many things that once you begin to look into it, you'll recognize and understand this has been something you've been around your whole life. It's like hindsight is 20/20. You'll start to say, oh my gosh. And it it's all from love. It's all from love, because really that's all there really is.
And what does that mean exactly? It's all from love.
It means that when you get down, Gloria, to the bare bones, the brass tacks of everything. Love is the only thing that matters. Learning love, learning compassion, because if it weren't for love, we would have no reason to even want to move forward with whatever our soul's journey is.
You know, and I'm thinking when you say that, particularly for some of our listeners and what people are watching today, fundamentally, it seems to me in the beginning, you know, when you've had a recent loss, you have to remember to love yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Just as your loved ones would want you to be loved. We have to love ourselves. We have to be gentle with ourselves. The care that we yearn so much to give to our beloveds, who we don't feel their physical presence anymore, nourish that upon yourself. It's so difficult to do, and yet so easy to merely take a warm blanket and cover yourself, to merely let yourself physically love yourself, caress yourself, fix yourself some warm tea, gently run your own fingers through your hair, and imagine your loved ones. Imagine your loved ones there. My father always kissed me right here on my forehead. Makes me a little verklempt just thinking of it, and imagining that, and knowing that it is not my imagination, that he is here surrounding me and ever sending me the wonderful fives he always gives me, and I just know he's here.
I was thinking of the squeeze on the shoulder that Heidi's dad used to do with everybody, right?
Absolutely. He loved doing that.
Well, tell people how they can get in touch with you and where you're located and your online presence and all that.
I am at phoenixmedium.com, and I'm located in Scottsdale and Sedona, Arizona. Please visit my website. You can also go to Lisa Wilcoxson. However, Phoenix Medium is a little easier to spell. And I would love to hear from anyone. Also, I absolutely want to suggest that people reach out. If you need to talk to anyone, there's wonderful organizations. I'm very involved, as you said, in helping parents heal. They have countless YouTube videos out there where you can watch people such as yourselves and others who can just help us get through these difficult times. But most of all, know your biggest supporters are your loved ones in spirit, because there truly is no death. And this innocence of illusion of what things were and what things can be for us now can be our gift.
Oh, thank you so much for being on our show today. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you more.
I'm looking forward as well. Thank you both.
Thank you, Lisa. We saw you at Helping Parents Heal, and you were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, your gift is unbelievable, and you are such a great example of how you can find hope again. I mean, both your boys have transitioned, and you are here living your best life and staying connected to them. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for joining us on this show today. And Heidi and I would like you to visit us at opentohope.com, and also remind you that if you've lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.